Hello, welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. Today is Tuesday, August the 25th, 2015. We've got a great show for you tonight. We've got a special guest with us. First, let me make just a couple of quick announcements. We've added a segment to the show, which is going to be with Riley Hollingsworth. Riley Hollingsworth is going to be with us every other week. And we're going to have a segment called Ask Riley, where you can ask him questions. If you'd like to send in some comments or questions, we've got an email address for you. The email address will be askriley@w5kub.com. So he'll be here with us every other week. We're also going to start having a segment on antennas. We've got an antenna expert that's going to be in here with us, and we're going to be talking about antennas, a different antenna probably every other week, and we'll be taking questions with him as well. So be sure to tell all your friends and go ahead and start getting your questions into us now. So we'll have some questions for Riley to answer when we get to next week's show. So tonight, first of all, I wanted to say hello to our co-host Ted. Ted over in Lebanon, Tennessee. How you doing, Ted? I don't think Ted's there.
I'm here.
Oh, Ted's there. He always does that to me.
No, I kill the mic so that you don't get noise in the room when we're doing things. I wanted to say hello to everyone, but I also wanted to remind everyone, before I forget, coming up this Saturday, which is the 29th. Am I correct? Is that Saturday, the 29th? It is the Cedars of Lebanon Tailgate Hamfest coming up. This thing was at one point was called off, but then Cactus K4YMB he resurrected it. So it's going to be on the 29th at the Cedars of Lebanon State Park. I can't give you an exact start time, but believe me, it's going to be early in the morning. So the earlier you get there, the better off you probably are. But I wanted to mention that because that Hamfest has gone on for years, and for some reason this last year they decided that they couldn't do it. But it's all non-commercial. It's just a tailgate party in terms there's no vendors and no concessions or anything like that. So you have to bring your own hot dogs. Other than that, I have no more news.
All right. Well, Ted, if it wasn't so far, I might come over there, but you live a long ways out, man.
No, you live a long ways out.
Yeah, well,
I live very close to home,
Yeah, I guess you do there. All right. Well, look, let's get on over here to our guest tonight. Tonight we've got with us. I don't know how to tell you about this girl. She has probably done more in ham radio than most of us have done in our lifetime. And there she is. That's Anna Veal. And her father, Paul Veal. Anna is W0ANT. She was the Bill Pasternak Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year this year. So that was a great honor, I think, for Anna to receive this year. That's just one of hundreds of things that she's done, and we're going to talk about some of them tonight. And then I don't know what we're going to talk about with Paul there. I don't think Paul's accomplished near the things except raise a wonderful ham radio daughter that's done more than all of us combined. So, Paul, we're going to get you too. But just wanted to say that, hey, Anna, at age 8, got her license. In the 4th grade, she learned CW. She got her vanity call when she was, I think, in the 4th grade. She likes to do DXing and contesting, but guess what? She does it in CW. Man, she has attended the youth adventure teams in Costa Rica. She started up a youth ham radio club at her school. She's president of that. She was the 2011 Rocky Mountain Division Young Ham of the Year, the Newsline Young Ham of the Year. Oh man, ARRL, the Hiram Percy Maxim Award was given to Anna. I don't know anybody else has ever received that award. Ted, do you know anybody's received that award?
No, I don't. Of course, I've never kept up with it, so I don't know. I mean, has there been a Hiram Percy Maxim Award prior to Anna getting it, or is this something that
I don't know.
Just started? I mean, there you go. I don't know.
Well, we'll ask that question in a minute. And
it goes back quite a ways. But yeah.
Okay, I figured it probably did. Ted and I just are kind of behind times, living down here in Tennessee. We only got electricity and internet last year. Yeah. So, and Anna wants to be a biomedical engineer. Is what she's going to be going to school for here soon. So let's just jump right into it. First of all, let me say Anna's grandfather is in France. Do we know if he's watching tonight?
Yeah, he's watching and hopefully listening. We'll see.
Okay, so well, that'll be cool. Now, if he's watching us, well, maybe he'll get in the chat room here in a little while and say hello. But so I don't have his call in front of me. Tell us his call and name, Anna.
It's his name's Guy Virio, and his call sign's F0 Echo Fox Quebec, F0 EFQ.
Okay, and hopefully he's also listening on shortwave. And in case he's not listening tonight, or I know it's late, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning over there, maybe 2 o'clock. So we're recording this, and we'll have this up on the site sometime by tomorrow.
Oh, grandparents, they'll be partying all night.
Well, they will. They're probably having a big party over at their house right now, and invited all the friends to come over and see the son and the granddaughter, right?
I suppose.
Yeah. All right. So look, let's jump into some things here. First of all, I don't know which one of you start first. Let me start with Paul first. Paul, how did you luck out to get someone like Anna so talented in your family with ham radio, and also, does that threaten you? Like, is she taking your radios and stuff like that? Or?
I think there's a lot involved. Genetic, obviously. Her grandfather's a ham geek. I'm a ham. Her mom's a ham. Sure, if we dug through the records, we'd probably find someone who sent smoke signals years ago. So she's a good communicator. And she grew up around it. We had a contest station up in Wyoming when she was born, and she was always around the towers and coax and microphones and keyers and radios, you name it. I always had to, repair it or clean it off after she left her room. It was a lot of fun when she was growing up, and I think it just stuck.
All right. Well, how do you get to operate your radios? Did you buy her radios, or she got her own radios? How's that work?
Oh, it depends if there's a contest on or not. Anna's a contester more than a DXer. I know that because I could work the rarest of entities, and unless it's in a contest and counts as a double multiplier, she generally won't come down into the shack there. So, but yeah, we've always enjoyed sharing the radio. I've never had any boundaries set up with that, and I think that's one of the things that helped her get interested, maybe sooner than later.
Now, you've got other members also in your family that are hams, right?
Well, I don't personally, no.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Well, just Anna's grandfather and her mom, and I think that's
okay. I meant your her mom was also licensed there.
Yeah.
And I saw that Anna has two other sisters.
Yeah, there they are.
Right there. And my understanding is you guys are control operators, but you let them work CW? Can these little
we had a little bet if the girls could learn code, Anna could train them. I think it was $1 a letter or something, and they really got into it. Claire on the left there in the green, she actually was able to start sending my call sign at about 60 words a minute. We couldn't turn the keyer up any faster, and she just had a great time. I think she was like maybe 6 or 7 when she was doing that stuff. And Leah was in it for the money, and I'm not sure where they're going to be, 2 or 3 years from now. But they really look up to their older sister, and I think a lot of that's been emulating after what she's been doing. Although I don't think Anna can send it 60 words a minute.
Hey, I mean, we did look at Huntsville. We stopped in Huntsville at the Ham Fest. We were messing around with all the keyers that were for sale and whatnot.
Yeah. So Ted, did your mom or dad give you $1 a letter to learn?
No, absolutely not. And learning the code, when I guess I want to say for novice though, that was I guess at that point in time I really didn't have any teachers. I just kind of had to learn it on my own, which is easy enough to do when you're young. I'll tell you that right now. If you start getting older, it's a little tougher.
Yeah, I didn't have anybody teach me there. I just kind of self-taught it myself there. So okay. So back to this family here. So we got 2 other sisters. Boy, I tell you, I feel threatened that they might be taking over your radio gear here pretty soon. Paul, you think you have trouble now with one using your radios. You get 3 of them using it, and you're gonna just have to go out and put you another shack out in the storage building or something.
Yeah,
I've got. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's. I'm outnumbered. I've got nothing but women in the house, and yeah. So losing the radio room is not a surprise to me from time to time. But they all have fun, so it's an important thing.
Well, I was going to ask one question, and that is, and I realize this is a family of hams. In other words, you've got a grandfather and then yourself. I guess my question is, though, there's got to be something that you did that would cause her to develop an interest. And the reason why I ask that is because I've always felt that you could never force the hobby on a child. In other words, if you have a son or a daughter and you're in ham radio, I just don't think you can coerce them in. But you can lead them in, but there has to be an interest. And I'm just curious, can you tell me a little bit about that dynamic? What did you do when you saw maybe a little interest there? How did you foster that? What did you purposely do?
Well, I think the important thing is just not to have the boundaries in the radio room. It wasn't, you can't walk into the room. You can't get into the QSL card collection or, pull on that cord or this cord. I just always encourage Anna to have fun with it. And I think that's kind of the magic answer, I would say, is just you got to have the boundaries lowered. I mean, you always want the kids to be safe, and you want to make sure that that you let them operate key equipment without damaging it, all that stuff when they're small. But you always want to have their imagination going. I mean, we used to talk about, where did this QSL card come from? What's that country called? How far away is it? We just went on, and we used to look at the artwork on the cards. QSL cards are not what they used to be. I think in some ways they're a lot better. In some ways they're more different. But they were unique back then. We didn't have the internet. We sort of did. Not much of an internet when Anna was really small. But, just let her draw on the cards, and, we just bounced her up in a chair with the headset on, and it was just part of the family. It was just what we did. I'm sure a lot of reasons why kids grow up to be fishermen if they go on their dad's boats, etc. It was just who we were. So
well, I wondered because I've got 2 sons that turned out to be hams, but I used to do all kinds of things on the sly. Leaving strategic pieces of equipment out, leaving magazines out or articles out or anything. If I saw it, it looked like it might be, and then sometimes I would put things in a position where, if they'd almost mess with it just to try to aggravate me a little bit, and then I'd sit back and just kind of watch and laugh, because I knew what was going on. But boy, they both wound up hooked on the hobby just as hard as I am. So that's cool. And I figure you must have done a little bit of that. You must have played into it just a wee bit somehow.
I think myself, but you always hear the phrase "it takes a village," and I think with kids getting involved in the hobby, Anna has had so many Elmers, people that I'll never forget taking her up to one of the hamventions up in Estes Park a few years ago. Well, a few years ago, it was when she was 3 years old, and they made her a name badge, Anna Banana. And, you know, we were living up in Wyoming at the time. And those people that she met then are the ones that have meant the most to her development, I think, over time. She goes to Hamfest, they say hello. She gets in the contest, they say hello. It's kind of a second family. So I think the other side of the equation is you know, getting her involved with all the activities that hams do. And, you know, people can't say no to a kid, and, you know, she was spoiled. They treated her very well, and they still do. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Well, look, I've you know, we posted this and announced it through social media, and I've got a couple of people that responded to some of the posting, and I just wanted to read those to you, and we'll touch into these subjects a little later. But Stephen Greer was very interested in the American Diabetes Association Youth Ambassador, I guess, title that you hold, and he says that his diabetic son will get a little more spark knowing this, and hopefully he will become a ham when I do. And then there's a guy named Paul Fisher said Anna was his first QSO and his first QSL card.
Do you remember that?
I don't know if you remember a guy named Paul or not.
I remember that.
There was a Patrick Bunsole said he helped you build some kits at the ARRL booth in Dayton. I think
he's awesome.
You built a keyer and a digital clock.
Yeah, Patrick is one of my. Well, Patrick is one of the people that I have the most fun with at Hamfests. It's just whenever I went to Dayton when I was little, one of the best parts of going to Dayton was going to the kit stations and building the little, you know, analog clocks and whatever. That was just part of the fun that came with Dayton.
Yeah. Well, you've really touched a lot of people in what you're doing there. So let's talk about some of these things. First of all, you want to tell us about the STEM school that you're attending. What is the STEM school, and what do they teach there? And just tell us about it.
All right, so I've been going to STEM for about a year and a half now. I'm going there for high school. They have a middle school program, but I did not attend it. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And basically the biggest difference between a normal school and a STEM school is the amount of technology and engineering that they use inside of the classroom. So for example, we don't really use a whole lot of paper in our school. We use more computers. If we have a problem, we can't really ask the teacher. We more look it up online and learn ourselves. It's much more project based, and it's a lot more problem solving than a normal public school.
It kind of sounds like the first year of college.
Yeah, it's a great school. It's STEM School and Academy. It's in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and they, you know, when we approached them a little over a year ago about putting in an amateur radio station, a lot of schools, we've done this before, have always said, well, we don't want it to go on the roof. And at STEM, they said, well, we've got a really big roof. So we thought, hey, this is a great place. Yeah. So
and let's jump into the youth club, the ham club that you were part of building there. I've got some pictures of that. You want to talk a little about that? I think here's the first shot here. Looks like a group picture. Tell us who this is or what this is.
That right there is the club that I had going when I was in elementary school. In 4th grade, we started a club at my elementary school. We just had a small antenna up on one of the modulars that was in the school, and we had maybe 10 kids. And it was just kind of a club for kids that were interested in the hobby to meet up and learn more about it. So we taught we taught them about propagation and learning how to use a mic, because surprisingly, a lot of kids these days are very, very nervous about using a microphone. I've noticed over the years that kids, when they first get on the radio, you have to tell them to speak up repeatedly because they get very, very mic shy, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm, but, so that was the first club that I was president of in my elementary school.
Now, so was that club named was that the KD0 NIV?
Yeah.
Is that what the cars were?
That's Rabbit Ears Radio Club.
That was the KD0 NIV Acres Green Elementary Rabbit Ears Radio Club. How in the world do you come up with a name with like rabbit ears?
I think we let the kids name it. I'm pretty sure.
It's called a fourth grader's imagination, honestly.
Oh. Okay, well that's let's go to the next picture we've got there. Okay, so here you are outside.
Yes.
Tell us a little about these kids. So they look very young. How are they doing in ham radio?
I'm still in touch with the kids in these pictures. The girl on the far left is named Cheyenne, and the boy standing next to her is Dominic. They also have a little sister named Haley, and then on my right is my sisters. I've known Haley, Dominic, and Cheyenne for a few years now. They're part of the Cherry Creek School's amateur radio clubs. They're not actually part of my amateur radio club, but we're definitely close when it comes to friends inside of the hobby.
And one thing I just want to say about that club, we've got a guy out here in Colorado. His name is Bob Sterner, Kilo Bravo Zero Bravo Sierra. And Bob approached me about 6 or 7 years ago about helping start a club at the Cherry Creek School District, and it's taken off. You know, they're integrated with Rocky Mountain Ham Radio. They give exams to kids. For a while there, they've given free radios to any kid who passed their exam. Bob's a satellite guy, just a amazing individual. And again, the youth clubs kind of come full circle. So really happy to know Bob and his whole family. By the way, his kids, Cheyenne and Dominic, are both hams now. They both passed when they were young as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. We're doing something with a tape measure antenna. Are you fox hunting?
Yeah, we one of the projects that we did in the school club was teaching kids how to build fox hunting antennas, and one of the easiest ways to do that is with PVC pipe and tape measures. So we kind of just broke some PVC pipe and took out the tape measures, and the next thing you know, we got kids looking for a fox out there.
Yeah. Did they find it?
Oh yeah, the kids loved it. We did. Right. I think we did 4 or 5 of those throughout the year.
A bunch of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's fun.
Well, here's the same group there. I don't know if this was before or after the fox hunt, but they look fancy there. Uh-huh. All right, and here's the shot here, I guess, of the group.
Yeah.
Who's that on the far left?
I'm on the far left in the pink shorts. That was me in 4th grade. This was basically our club. This is the people that were in the club. You know, life takes you in different places. I'm not really in touch with any of the kids anymore, but I'm pretty sure at least a couple of them have kept up with at least some aspects of the hobby, whether it be technology or actually getting a license. I mean, all the kids in that club were really dedicated to the hobby, and they truly enjoyed it. So.
I see your shirt says you went to Dayton and all you got was that shirt. You didn't get anything. You've been going about 4 years now.
Yeah, we went 4 years in a row. We took 4 years off, and we're going back again this year. So
yeah,
looking forward to it.
Well, Ted, you know, I've been up here all those years. Anna's been hiding from us, I guess, or I've just been working too hard and in the wrong place. I haven't seen her, but if she gets up there next year, I'd like for her to come by our booth and get on our webcast. And Ted does his QSO show from up here also. Did you guys? That reminds me. Did you guys sit down with Ted maybe last year or something? No.
No, Annis. I think you sat down with Ted for the first time in Huntsville.
Yeah.
Okay, in Huntsville. Yeah, I see it. See there, Ted. You were on the cough medicine. I told you.
I was having some fun with Tom, and he's so easy to fool with. You know, he said, "Didn't you do an interview with her?" I said, "No, I don't recall anything like that."
Ted's just being nice. All right.
So anyhow, but you were at Dayton this last year then?
No, I wasn't. I haven't been to Dayton in 4 years.
2012.
Okay, all right. So I was going to say, because we were there, but I imagine back then you were much smaller. Maybe you didn't want to talk on the radio. You know, We were there. I know.
Yeah. I was a lot smaller. I was probably around 8 or 9 years old when I went the first time.
When you were 8, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where she passed her technician exam, was in Dayton. That was a crazy trip. We left Friday at like 10 at night, and we had to come back Saturday at 10 at night, and somewhere in between then and when we came home, she spent a day in Dayton.
What was your impression of the very first Dayton, even though you were young? How did that all strike you when you got to the Hare Arena, got inside, and started looking around, and the outdoor flea market and all that?
Well, going to local flea markets and hamfests, to a kid, they're already big. So going to Dayton, Ohio when I was 8 was ginormous. It was insanely fun. There were so many different things that I was able to do. The first time I was just kind of in shock the whole trip because of the fact that I had just passed my tech and just all the new people I was meeting and all of the different places I got to go and whatnot. So, I mean, if I were to describe Dayton the first time in one word, it would just be ginormous, to be honest.
I think it'll be overwhelming to someone, especially if you suffer from any attention deficit disorder. Going through the flea market can really produce all kinds of problems because you don't know what to look at, you don't know where to focus, or it's big. It's just a big place, a lot of stuff. I was curious, though, being so young. Now, let me ask you this: what you said you were able to do a lot of things and you had a lot of fun. What were the most fun things for the first date?
Oh man, there were a couple big things. I got to meet Gordon West for the first time. That was also my first time touching a soldering iron, let alone building a kit. We did Woof Hong. Can't tell anyone about Woof Hong, but we did that as well.
I'm still looking for the Woof Hong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one can find him now.
Oh, and you met Bob Heil there?
Yeah, I met Bob Heil. I met Kay Craigie. I met tons of people that year.
Yeah, I saw a picture with you with the ARL president there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Back to the pictures here of the youth real quick. Here's a picture. Looks like some gentleman here probably demonstrating something or showing something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he's
that
doing
was
here.
we were building Bobots back then. They're just little robots that you can
I got you. I got you. Now, here's a shot here. Tell us about this.
That's a pretty recent picture. I can't really see the picture very well because it's pixelated.
The park.
But I believe that was last year at the park with the balloon launch that we did.
No, that was you were recruiting. We can't see the picture.
Well, it says Edge of Space Studies, May 23rd, Mexico, 97,000 feet, and then it's the AB0BX Spartan Amateur Radio Club.
Yeah,
and then you've got the next launch October 25th. Now, is that coming up in October?
No, that's already gone. That picture was about a year ago. Now I remember where this picture was. So every year my school does like a STEM launch, which is kind of just like a place for all the kids to get together and meet each other and learn about the clubs. And that was just me kind of announcing the club to all of the kids at STEM.
So did you reach your goal of 100,000 feet?
We did. I think we got like 104 or something like that.
Yeah, right around 104.
So next time you do one of those, I would love for you to, get a video of it, and we'll get you back on the show. Okay?
Awesome. Sounds good.
And I really would like to have some balloon launches on here.
Tell
us about that. Did you were actually, what did the balloon have in it as far as radios or GPS, and how did you track it? How far did it go? Did you find it?
So the balloon that we did, we used APRS to track it, and the payload itself, the experiment that STEM did, was basically we took a bunch of different batteries and put them on a balloon, and what we wanted to test was what batteries would do at certain elevations. So basically, our goal was to figure out what batteries were best at higher elevations.
Okay. I would imagine it gets pretty cold up here, and batteries don't work too good when they're cold, do they?
No, they don't.
So you're able to chase this balloon down and find it. How far did it go?
Oh, man. I think we drove for about 2.5, 3 hours before it started coming down, maybe about 80 miles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it caught some winds, and it just took off. Edge of Space Science is here in Denver. are great. At first they thought, well, it's going on too long. We're just going to have to cut it loose. And a bunch of the kids protested in the various chase cars, and they were cool enough to let us continue the chase, and finally burst at about 104,000 feet. It was great. We had 12 different schools involved, and it was all put on by Anna's school over at STEM School. It's great. It was a lot of fun.
Do you guys have to take out any insurance? I would think that could be a hazard to aviation, right?
Well, you know, at Space Science guys, that's why we paid them the flyer balloon. They took care of all that. But yeah, if you launch too close to an airport, there's a lot of restrictions. So that's why we go way out east on the plains of Colorado, where we can launch and not have too much to worry about.
Yeah, but even 100,000 feet, though, you could be 50 miles from an airport, you know. So I knew I had a friend that launched a balloon, and he went out and actually got insurance because of the risk. So maybe that was handled with some of the other guys that knew, you know, more that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Well, you did a great job if you were able to track that thing and find it when it came down.
Yeah, to give you an idea of where we were, I remember getting out of the car and watching the balloon land and having to walk in heavy brush and dead grass for about 300 yards before we actually even got to the balloon. So we really are in the middle of nowhere when we launch those things.
Well, Ted, Anna here graduated, I guess, from Contest University. I've never been there. Ted, have you ever had any involvement with Contest University?
No. As far as I know, isn't that something that that Bob Heil does? I'm not.
Yeah, well, Tim, I think Tim Duffy may be the one who started that. It's up at his place, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure Bob has a big part in that.
It travels around. They have it in Dayton the Thursday before the Hamvention starts.
Uh-huh. So what do you do at Contest University, and how long is it, and what do you do?
Well, it's a lot of fun. That was a few years ago, but from what I remember, it was just going to different seminars, learning about different aspects of contesting, and we did games like we did a game I remember where we all got a notepad and a piece of paper, and we had to pretty much run around like madmen and try and get as many people's names and calls down written on the piece of paper before time was up. So it's just it's 95% serious, 5% absolute fun of just learning about contesting and meeting new people.
Okay, well, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I know Tim. I'm going to have to try to attend one of those one day. Ted, maybe you and I can sign up next year at Dayton and go to Contest University. You think you'd want to do that, well, Ted? I'll pay for your tuition.
Well, what I was listening to, I think, or what I was thinking about, didn't Bob Heil make an appearance there this year, or wasn't he teaching something at Contest University? Just I heard that, so I was associating his name with it. Is that the case?
Not sure. We weren't there.
It's been about 3 years.
I tell you what, it was a who's who of contesters though. The years that we went, it was great.
Well, you know, I was looking at the chat room. One person here said he didn't know it was a real thing. So I think we're you know, educating some people here. And another person here says that they're going to Contest University next year, so they're already signed up for that. So
they're gonna love it. It's a lot of fun, especially if you love contesting. I personally, that's my favorite aspect of the hobby is contesting. I just love the quickness of it. I love getting to meet new people, and I love the whole game aspect of it. So if you're into contesting and you really want to get serious about it, Contest University is a blast.
Yeah. And they teach, you know, big guns and little pistols. They have seminars for everybody.
I was looking here. David just brought up something on the website, and it says the 2015 professors. Some of the names were like Ward Silver, Doug Grant, Frank Donovan, Ed Munns, Bob Sherwood, Randy Thompson, Tim Duffy, Joel Harrison, and sure enough, Bob Heil's in here. So Bob was was one of the professors at the 2015 Contest University, which, and again, I know nothing about it. I was just going by what I had heard through osmosis.
I just wonder which pier he was talking about. Inside joke.
Dad, you're not good at inside jokes.
I know.
I know. Hey, Anna, tell me now. Hey, I'm going to jump back. You're doing so many things. Young Ham of the Year. Now, I know that you get a trip to space camp. Are you going to go to space camp?
Yeah, unfortunately, my summer ended right before we went to Huntsville, so I was unable to go this year. But I'm planning to do space camp next year, and while we were in Huntsville this year, we stopped by space camp, and I got a pretty good idea of what it is, and I'm really excited. It looks like a lot of fun.
So you're not afraid of being spun around and held upside down and all that stuff?
You should ask my dad. While we were there in Huntsville a couple weeks ago, I made him go on all the spinny rides, and he about threw up, passed out, the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank CQ Magazine. When they told us about that prize and they were sending her to space camp, we were speechless.
Yeah, it was definitely the coolest prize I got out of all of
this. It's really a great experience to go there. Let's talk a little about the American Diabetes. You're really heavily involved in that. Tell us what you want to tell us about that and what you're doing in that area and how we can help you.
Yes, so I've been diagnosed for about 3 years now, I would say.
About 3.
With type 1 diabetes. I was diagnosed when I was 12. Basically, type 1 diabetes is similar to type 2, but not identical. Type 1 diabetes is a genetic disorder where your pancreas stops producing insulin. And ever since I was diagnosed, I've always wanted to get involved with communities. And about 1.5 years ago, I got involved with the American Diabetes Association. I am currently an American Diabetes Youth Ambassador, which basically what that means is I go to different walkathons and bikeathons where we raise money to try and stop diabetes. I did a couple walkathons last year and a bikeathon. And right now at the moment, we are really, really trying to get some donations for my upcoming walkathon and bikeathon. The walkathon is called Step Out to Cure Diabetes, and the bikeathon is Torty Cure. So if any of you would be willing to go to my QRZ page and, just donate a quick $5, I'll give you a high five if you donate $5. It means a lot to me personally, and it means a lot to everyone else who has type 1 diabetes.
Well, and I just put up, I went to that link, I copied that website, what was it, JDRF?
She's also doing another one with the juvenile, she's doing a Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation walk as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I just pulled that up, and I've got that up on the page here, and it's great that you're doing that, and you're in a research program that they're studying you. I guess they're sucking blood out of you pretty regularly, aren't they?
Yes. Before I was actually diagnosed, I was diagnosed with prediabetes. And basically, they had noticed when I was 8 that my blood sugar was abnormally high when I took steroid medication for my asthma. And so ever since that happened, when I was about 8 years old, they put me into a research study where basically every month or every 6 months, I believe.
Every couple months.
Every couple months. I would go up to the just to Children's Hospital, and it was basically a 3-hour deal where I would go in. They would they give me an IV. I'd have to drink this glucose-filled liquid, and they would basically just monitor me for those 3 or 4 hours just to see how my pancreas reacted, mainly because I wasn't fully diabetic, but I was showing diabetic symptoms. So basically it was just a research foundation that was trying to gain information about prediabetes.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job there working with them in their research, and I'm sure you're an inspiration to a lot of other people out there that have it, and they're all hoping for a cure, and you're helping to find that cure.
Everyone I've met, no matter where they come from or who they're related to, everyone I've met has someone that they know with type 1 diabetes. It is so widespread, not just in the U.S., but around the world, and it's become a major problem for a lot of people. It's affected many families, and overall, I would really like to make people with diabetes lives better.
All right, so I'm looking also at a lot of things you've done here. You've been a speaker at a lot of different, I don't know, clubs and meetings, a speaker at the Utah DX Association, Rocky Mountain ARL regional meeting. Tell us, what do you typically speak about when you have these?
Well, I've done a couple of I've ranged in topics. I've done a couple more technical talks, but mainly I just talk about Elmering, people in the hobby. I'm a big supporter of Elmering. I've had so many Elmers in the past that have helped me. Basically, all of the presentations I've given since I was little have either been about how you can Elmer someone and how to become an Elmer, or how to set up stations when you don't have an Elmer and you're needing help.
All right. Now, let me jump in. I think I got a certificate lined up here, one of these pictures. Let's see what we got here. Let's just talk about these. What is this right here? Oh, this is a Contest University. This is your certificate from Contest University. Here's the one I'm looking for right here. This is a 160-meter contest. It says you took first place, multi-operator, low power, Colorado section. It says 10th place, United States and Canada, 10th place overall. So I guess you work a lot of different bands and contests?
Yeah, like I said, contesting is my passion in the hobby. My dad and I, when I was smaller, we'd love to do contests on a regular basis. We would trade off, so it was multi-operator. He would sit in the ham shack for an hour and a half and work people, and then I would sit there for an hour and a half and work people, and it was just one of the things me and my dad did that was a good memory of mine when I was little.
Well, for you guys to come in first place, both of you did a great job there, that's for sure. Hey, there's a question in the chat room. What do you want to do when she gets to college? We talked about biomedical engineering. So let's take it past college. What's your goal?
Well, after college, during college, like you said, I would like to study biomedical engineering. After college, I'd like to get more in depth with the organizations I'm already working with. I'd like to possibly work for Medtronic, which is a pump building company. I currently am on one of their insulin pumps, and I would like to be able to learn how to and eventually build insulin pumps for people with diabetes.
Oh, that would be a great thing to do. Back to your contesting. You first place in a 2010 USA CQWW sideband 10 meter. What is that? What is that?
I could help her with that one a little bit.
I can't even say it. It's got too many letters in it.
CQ Worldwide has a lot of subcategories for contests, and I had to give Anna stamina points on this because 10 meters wasn't so hot in 2010. The kid got up at sunrise, went down into the basement shack. We all have basement shacks, right? Sat there for hours, praying that somebody in Brazil or somewhere in South America we'd have an opening. And I think you must have worked, I don't know, probably 80 or 90 South Americans.
Yeah.
And it was willed. And I don't know how she would have done it. She just,
wow.
I'm going to hear something, Dad. I know I'm going to hear something. And, so that was that certificate. I remember that one real well.
So, Ted, are you a contester? You ever worked any contest?
No, the only contest is field day. That's it. No, I've had an aversion to contests. I enjoy listening to them, to a point, but I'm just more of a rag chewer and conversationalist. Now, contest radio, though, is a high adrenaline thing for a large number of hams, and I think it also clearly demonstrates the potential of the, communications potential of the hobby. It just really shows it off, and I'm I certainly applaud people that participate in contests, because I think it just shows off the hobby so well.
It really does.
I was just curious. I was going to say, Anna, do you feel that way, or do you feel like when you're working a contest, is the adrenaline there and you're just sitting on the edge of your seat?
That's probably one of the biggest things that got me into amateur radio. When I was 8, I didn't have a very good attention span. I related to a goldfish with ADHD. I was everywhere when it came to attention span, and having something like contesting inside of the hobby was just something fun for me to do. That was adrenaline fulfilling. So I never really got bored. I never was looking around the ham shack not knowing what to do. It's just a fun aspect of the hobby. There's so many different aspects to the hobby.
But that's a fast-moving thing, and it's your focus has got to be right there, and especially if you're doing a contest in CW. But I'm curious though. Has there been anything else other than contests that you think is maybe more fun than contesting?
I'm kind of all over the place. When I was younger, contesting was my passion. As I've gotten older, I've kind of expanded to different parts of the hobby. Like he was showing off earlier, I've done a lot of fox hunting. I really enjoy that as well. With the school club, we've done lots of payload launches. I'm interested in a little bit of VHF here and there. I'm pretty much all over the place when it comes to the hobby.
Yeah. Tell us about the blue there. People are noticing the blue.
The blue? The shirts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we're an American Radio Relay League family.
All right. Well, I saw blue on the stem back there too. I didn't know. Oh,
the sign there too. Well, that's the banner for STEM School and Academy.
Yeah.
It's Dad trying to make the picture look nice on the screen.
I wanted to put a globe up, but her mom said she didn't want the globe. So that would put the school banner up.
Wow, just a lot of other contests. First place in First place MS Colorado section. IRU 2010 IRU first place.
Yeah, it was multi-single contest. That was the IARU.
I would just like to tell everybody, go to Anna's page, go to her QRZ page at W0ANT, and you'll see what we're looking at here. I'm trying to go through the list of things, and there are hundreds and hundreds of things like this that she's done. It's just amazing. Ted, I don't have near this many things on my QRZ page. What about you?
There's not much on mine either. It's just the QSL radio show. I think link is the only thing up there.
Well, I'm going to have to hire someone to help me get.
Well, you're gonna have a heck of a time competing with Anna, though.
Well, I know that.
You can hire somebody, but you got to do something, before they can put it up there, Tom.
Well, I know
hear that. Well, yeah.
I don't know what to say. Okay. So, let me see what other pictures I had here for you guys real quick. This looks like Anna and a young guy working something. I don't know. And I know you're not seeing the picture very, very well, Anna, but I see a workbench in the background, a computer, and...
Yeah, that's the little boy that's sitting next to me. His name is Jasper. He's one of the kids in my current amateur radio club. I've known him for a couple of years now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's a go-getter. That was a 10-meter ARL contest. They had a blast with it.
Okay.
This past year.
And let's see, here's a picture. You look really small here if that's you in a chair.
Yeah.
Is that one of your Elmers there?
Yeah, his name is Chuck. His call sign is K0RF. He's one of my biggest Elmers, one of the people that's made the biggest difference in my life when it comes to the hobby. I don't know if you can see very well on that picture, but we had a couple of troubleshooting problems that we had to solve at his ham shack. For example, I don't know if you can see the headset on my head, but it's mainly consistent of styrofoam and duct tape and
air bubble.
And yeah, bubble wrap, and that's because his headsets were all too big for my head.
Okay,
So
that is cool.
we had to make them bigger or smaller.
Well, here's a picture of Dad here, and now talk about headphones that don't fit. These headphones. Now those headphones would fit me, Ted. Ted, that looks like your headphones. I don't know if you're seeing the picture or not, but
I from where I am, I can't really make the picture out.
Yeah, but that's a nice pair of headphones. They're bigger than her head actually. How old do you think you were there? Maybe 4 years old or so?
No, she couldn't have been any older than maybe 1.5.
Oh,
maybe,
really?
I don't think she was even 1 year old there.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
Wow.
yeah, probably one, maybe plus or minus a couple months.
She looks like she's about ready to take over the operation there.
Yeah, it hasn't changed much over the years.
Yeah. Here's another shot. Now, when I was growing up as a kid in ham radio, we didn't have computers. Look at this. Got a computer. Everybody's got computers now, ham radio.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things at my school. Every kid is required to have a laptop that they use.
Yeah, that's Skylar. We have 2 Skylars in the club, and that's one of our Skylars. And Anna was Elmering in the that looks like that was the sweepstakes, ARL phone sweepstakes. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's it.
Here's another picture. I guess that was a Contest University.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about when I said that we had a notebook and a pen, and we had to get all these calls and names before time was up. That was one of the funner things we did at Contest University.
Yeah, that's Frank Donovan, Whiskey 3 Lima Papa Lima. If you have a DX cluster, you see his call quite a bit on the spots that come through his cluster.
Okay.
Big contester.
I think we've already maybe looked at that one.
Maybe it's you and Jasper again.
Yeah, that's Jasper.
Now, you've been in several publications. Here's the National Contest Journal. I think you have an article written there. Do you write a lot of articles for different publications or newsletters or anything?
I've been in a couple. I don't really like to sound cocky, but yeah, I've been in a couple of different magazines, and I've been on the news a couple of times as well.
Cool.
I think it goes. I think it just goes with who she's hanging out with. That was a contest she did up at Chuck's, and Chuck helped edit that article, and it was just a great deal for everybody. So,
well, now she can brag that she's been on Amateur Radio Roundtable with Ted Randall and Tom Medlin.
And 100,000 more.
And that and a quarter won't get you a cup of coffee, will it, Ted?
No, it won't. Coffee's a lot more these days than a quarter. You can't even make a phone call for a quarter.
All right, let's see what we got going here. What else? I think I've gone through most of the pictures. Oh, well, I tell you what, I've got a couple here. This guy here's got a lot of hair on his head, and it looks dark.
Don't know him.
And look at that radio. I don't know what kind of radio that is. It's got a lot of meters on it. I can't make it out, but that's you, Paul, I guess, when you were maybe, I don't know, teenager?
Maybe 13, 14.
Okay.
A long time ago.
What kind of radio was that?
It's a DAC.
I don't even know what that is. You know what that is, kid? You ever heard of that?
You know what? You can find them on eBay once in a while. I bought you, like you said, it's got a lot of meters, and it was fun for a kid. I enjoy that radio.
I tell you, Ted knows his radios. He's a collector of different radios. I would imagine Ted knows about that. I'm not familiar with that radio. Was that a transceiver or just a transmitter there? I guess it'd be a transmitter.
It's a transceiver.
Okay.
I think it was a DAC 10.
Is it Citizens Band?
Yes, it is.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I've seen those before. I always wondered why they had so many meters on them.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have one just for all the knobs and the meters. I mean, this is something here.
Designed for imagination.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you spent a little bit of time on Citizens Band?
I think that's where a lot of us got started.
I always tell folks, especially when I have them on the QSL radio show, and they start talking about it, and they say, well, I got my start in Citizens Band, they finally get it out, Well, I make no bones about it. I started in the Citizens Band. I think Citizens Band was cool. It was a different thing back then, though. It was a community and a local community operating on the 11-meter band, and I think it was really a good thing. And I'm glad to hear people say, well, yeah, I got started in the Citizens Band without, cringing when they say it. So I think it served its purpose, and it was a real cool thing. And, back a few years ago, getting into ham radio, Anna, if you hadn't had an Elmer or someone around, you very well may have wound up on Citizens Band. And from that point on, advanced on into ham radio. But there's a lot of people did that.
We had a lot of people in the chat room identify that radio just very quickly.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can find them once in a while. Once in a rare moon, I'll see one.
I'd like to order one just to tear up and get the parts out of. I mean, it's cool, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having one back in the shack someday, but I just haven't been able to find the right radio.
Yeah. Oh, so that was back in the early days. Here you are, I guess, more recent days. Your station looks a little different there.
Yeah, that's at the Teachers Institute.
Okay.
That's at the American Radio Relay League's W1AW station.
Okay.
And 2010, we went back. My wife and I both went through the Teachers Institute and were able to bring back some grants, and that's how we got some of the clubs equipped. So Deborah Johnson at the ARL is just wonderful to deal with. And, if you're a teacher or if you work with a school district, and if you would like to get more involved, contact the ARL on their Teachers Institute. I'm sure Deborah Johnson would be glad to talk to you. It's a week of training free. Great training. Fantastic stuff.
Great. Now, this looks nice right here. How many times has Anna been up to the top of this?
A couple.
So you actually climb it, Anna? Do you go up there and work on it, or you just climb it for fun?
It's more of, will Dad let me on the roof today basis. I'm a fan of heights, and so going up on the tower is fun for me.
Well, I see 6 meters up there. I think that's a 40-meter rotatable maybe, and then a log periodic. How does that log periodic work out for you?
Works pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, we love it. It's nice because we can listen to the shortwave bands just as well as we can on the amateur bands. It's fantastic.
Now that's mounted on that tower is actually mounted on top of your house. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a Glen Martin 19-foot tower.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, hey, you don't need a lot of height, for these antennas. I mean.
No, and we're up on a slope, so you go out half a wave looking northeast, north. It's got a good height to it. If you're a radio signal, you're happy with it. Yeah, that tower was quite a bit of roof work.
I would imagine so. Now, hey, did I see someone with like a bucket truck putting that log periodic up there, or was that somewhere else?
Yeah, tree climbers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess they charge the tree climbing rates to put that up.
Yeah. It's not that expensive when you think of what it would take to hoist it up there. So. Yeah. And it's always fun trying to tell them what it is and what it does, and listening to their stories about trees. And tree climbers are great. They always have a lot of great tree stories.
Well, Ted, we've jumped all around here. There's so much exciting things that Anna has been doing here that we've covered a lot of different things. What do you think you and I need to do next? I mean, we need to do one of these things. I guess I need to be a contester or something. What are you going to do?
I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because
okay.
That's about all the time that that life provides. But I'd like to ask Anna this question, and that is this: if you and you can right now, if you're talking to a group of adult amateur radio operators, okay, and this is a group of people that range from all ages, all over the country, and really all over the world, but maybe more so in the U.S. what would you say to hams that are adults in regards to what do they need to do and how do they need to act and what are the things they need to make priority in order to get young folks like yourself pulled into the hobby, interested in the hobby, and active in pursuing different things inside the hobby that will take you to things in your future career and whatnot. What do these folks need to do? How do they need to act? How do they need to treat young people? And in the process, maybe you could tell me some of the people that stand out in your mind.
Well, there's a couple different things that make people stand out in my mind. For people that are trying to get younger people into the hobby, I've said this before and I'll keep saying it. It's taking the hobby and putting it into aspects that kids are already using today. Kids are very into technology. So if you tell a kid that they can use their computer to do all these different things and talk to people all around the world, you're going to get them interested. There's a couple people in my mind that I can just think of off the top of my head. Brian N5ZGT, he's one of the people who introduced me to most of the aspects of the hobby. And really, you just have to find your thing. You have to find what parts of the hobby you love. And once you have something that you love, you're going to rub that off on other people. So just finding something that you love and sharing it with other people is honestly the best advice I can give you, because people can tell when you have passion for something. And if you're enjoying something, I guarantee you other people are going to want to try it out.
Do you see, though, I just want to say, do you run into groups of adult hams that are in the hobby that don't seem to have much passion?
There's different people, and some people just think of amateur radio as, a side thing where if they get really bored, they can hop on the air. Some people, it's their whole life. There's a range of people, and you just have to remember that there's not just one thing about amateur radio. There's not just DXing. There's not just contesting. There's tons and tons of different things that you can get into. You cannot get bored in this hobby. There are tons of things that you've probably never even seen before. So you just have to dig up new adventures for yourself.
I once heard a young person say that there was some folks purporting that we needed to make changes in the hobby in order to attract young people in, okay? And then this young gal piped up and said, no, we don't need to change the hobby. We just need to tell kids about the hobby. And I thought, there's a mouthful. I think she was absolutely correct, Do you feel, this is the thing that I keep hearing that comes back to me, and I don't believe it, but I hear it. I hear hams say things like, for example, now that computers are here, kids are no longer interested in ham radio, like as if computers overshadow the hobby. And I think that's incorrect, but I'd like to hear it from you, and especially to the fellas that make those kind of statements. Maybe you could share with the audience as to why that is not the case.
Well, I'm around people all day, every day that love computers, and I can tell you right now, they don't know what Morse code is, they don't know what DXing is, they don't know what propagations are, and they don't know what frequencies do. There is tons of differences between computers and radio. They go hand in hand, but if you know computers, you don't really know radio. And so, honestly, it's a question that I'm not very familiar with. It's just.
Well, the point they try to make is the fact that the kids can't get interested in ham radio because they're so interested in computers, and I just don't see that. I see the two going hand in hand. I think one complements the other. Well, yeah. I think computers makes ham radio even more interesting.
Well,
I was wanting to hear it from you as to how you interpret that, only because I don't believe it's a true statement.
Well, Ted, that was a question. That's a question that just came up in the chat room from Tony. He had a question for Anna. basically is what you asked. Does she feel that younger people are more interested in computer technology than amateur radio technology? And is there something that can be done to, make their interest higher? So I think that's what we're talking about it.
Well, like I was saying before, they go hand in hand, but they're not the same. For example, one thing that would show that computers and radios go in hand is the repeater that we just put up in our school club. We had a kid named Skylar. I forget what he's called. His last name's Finnell.
Yeah, Kilo Delta Zero Whiskey Hotel Bravo.
He helped us set up a repeater, and the kids loved that. They loved taking their computer skills and their building skills and applying it to the hobby. And radio skills can enhance people's lives with technology, because if you know how the computer works, with the frequencies that it's using and the components that are inside of the computer, which you can learn from amateur radio, you're going to have a lot more fun with both. So
yeah, we've got a very good club member. Skylar is one of those kids who really big in IT. If you never knew he was in ham radio, you would think he's just going to be a future computer engineer. And he's meshed both amateur radio and the computer technology through the repeater, like Anna said. So there's probably something in your radio room that a kid can take a computer, tie it into, and just have a lot of fun. Reverse beacon being one of them, reverse beacon network.
And like you were saying before, the hobby doesn't need to change. We just need to enhance the hobby with things that kids are doing nowadays. Like using your computer to log, simple stuff like that is taking what kids already know and applying it to amateur radio.
Ted, I haven't even automated my logbook yet, and that's one thing I probably should do.
How would you? Why don't you tell folks how you go about doing that? Because I keep a manual logbook, but see, I don't work contests or anything, so I don't have all those millions of contacts to put in.
Yeah, and
I bet Anna does. I bet Anna's got a system.
But you don't have to.
And she maybe ought to talk about that a little bit.
Ham Radio Deluxe is just one of those tools that you can use for online logging.
Yeah, you don't have to log all the things now that we used to have to log back, 30, 40 years ago. I mean, every time we would call CQ, we'd write an entry in the log that said call CQ, no answer, and we had to put the start time and the stop time, and then next time we'd call CQ, we would right near we'd call CQ and no answer. So our logbook was full back in the early days, Ted. Nowadays, I just write my contact down on a piece of paper and throw it in a drawer, One of the things about radio, hey, if people understand more of radio and RF, it might help them with these wireless networks.
Exactly.
And that's a big thing going on now, the mesh networks and so forth, and trying to get, these Wi-Fi signals don't go very far. So I know everybody out there your age and older are trying to figure out how to make these networks work better. And they need RF
there's
background.
A lot of different jobs that kids want to get into nowadays, like being a pilot or an astronaut, and what they don't realize is that they have to get into the hobby if they want to do that kind of stuff. There's a lot of jobs nowadays where amateur radio is just a common part of it. I mean, if you're going to become an engineer, you might as well get your license, because not only is it going to help you with frequencies and whatnot, but there's a lot of electronic components that go into that. So,
hey, here's an interesting comment in the chat room from Australia. One of our viewers down in Australia is on here every night. VK6RO. He says he has 48 paper log books. Some of them a half-inch thick, and he's not going to go back and type all that into a computer log.
Yeah. Well, it's never too late to start, I guess. If you don't want to go back and put them all in, then looks like you got to get back to the radio. Start making some more contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't realize just how many stations we logged a year when we did paper logging. We did the contest. We turn in the logs and things, but like Anna said, with Ham Radio Deluxe and some of the other programs, we're finding ourselves making 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 contacts a year, and I didn't think I had that in my whole life. it's just amazing how nice that computer logging is, and just tracks everything. So a lot of fun. Well, as has Logbook of the World, where you can upload everything and you compete with everybody. So.
Oh yeah, and you know, I think, and I don't even use the online logging programs. Isn't there an online logging program on QRZ or something now you can use? Are you guys familiar with that?
Well, I know Ham Radio Deluxe backs up your log online. You know, if it crashes, you just, and I'm sure other logging programs are very similar to that. So it's 21st century. It wasn't an easy transition for us to make. We didn't start electronic logging outside contesting. We didn't start it up until about 3 years ago ourselves. So.
Well, I think we had a great talk tonight with you guys, and I hope that the grandfather over in France has not fallen asleep yet. Probably the party is going to start now. And, you know, I'll just say to F0EFQ, you know, get that party started now. You got all your neighbors over right now. It's about, 3 o'clock in the morning, I guess, there. So they may be partying down right now. What do you think?
You know, you never know with grandparents. You just never know.
All right. Well, Ted, you got any last thoughts or comments before we say 73 to Anna and her dad here?
No, I just want to say congratulations to her, though, for not just the Young Ham of the Year, but her dedication and commitment to the hobby, and also to her dad. I think that you know, we have to keep in mind that young people have to be influenced into these things. It doesn't happen just on its own, and I think as long as you stay on this course, you are really going to have a blessed life, because you'll have all the tools at your fingertips. You'll have Elmers at your side helping you get through things that you wouldn't normally be able to figure out on your own. It's just you'll just have a blessed life because of this hobby. It's something else.
Well, thank you. It means a lot.
Well, and I agree, and it's just been a great discussion. And Anna, just keep up the good work and all the things you've done, and you're going to go a lot of places, girl. And man, you may invent some new operating mode or something here in 20 years down the road. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? What if you invented a new operating mode? What would you call it?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'd have to sleep on that one.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to say 73 to you, and thanks very much for being on here with us tonight.
Thank you for letting us be on here with
We've recorded this, and I'll probably be a little late, but by tomorrow night, hopefully I'll have the program edited and up on site. And that way you can share it with Grandpa in case he fell asleep. And we do want to have you back again and see how you're doing here, maybe down the road a little bit. Next time you do one of those balloon launches, contact me, because I think that would really make a great story.
All right, sounds good.
Here.
You betcha.
All right, thank you very much. And we're going to go into just a couple minutes to what we call our roundtable part, and that is where people with a Google Plus account can actually log on and be on the video here. We can have up to 10 people join us on video. All of our viewers out there that want to join, they can. And I put that link up in the topic for everybody in the chat room. The link is in the topic up there. So I'm going to go ahead and hang up with you, Paul and Anna, and thank you very much. We enjoyed it.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate the 100,000 watts you're putting out every night. It's amazing what you're doing, Ted. Just incredible what that station does. And Tom, we really appreciate meeting you and Kathy in Huntsville. Thank you again.
Well, you guys are welcome.
All right, 73.
Take care, guys.
73, and have a good week.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, so let's see. Hey, Ted, we went the whole show. And we forgot to tell our ham radio people in the chat room they could be listening on 5085 kilohertz is where the shortwave is tonight. And for all you people that have tuned in on shortwave, we would love to have you come in on a computer to our live video stream, and it's at W5KYHOTH. W5KUB.com, W5KUB.com. And we have a chat room. You can get in here. You can see Ted. I know you've been listening to his voice for many years, but Ted gets his makeup on. He looks pretty good every Tuesday night, and he's on here. So you ought to tune in here and see Ted. Help us spread the word about the show. And hey, join the QSO Facebook group, QSO Radio Show Facebook group, right, Ted?
That's correct. Yeah, like we're on Twitter too. So it's I guess follow us on Twitter and friend us on Facebook.
And I'd like to ask everyone out there in the chat room or even shortwave to join our Facebook group at W5KUB.com. It's a group that talks about this webcast and our guest and even other ham radio things. But, well, Ted, I think we did good tonight. Man, we had an outstanding guest on here. What are you doing next, Ted? Have you got Art or somebody on tonight?
Well, Art Bell comes on at 11 o'clock. We're fixing to go back to music on 5085. So I know that we're starting off with Johnny and the Hurricanes and Down Yonder. Have you ever heard that song before?
Johnny and the Hurricanes. Sing me a couple bars.
Oh, you can. It's an instrumental.
Okay. Well,
you've heard the song Down Yonder, haven't you?
I probably have. I'm not good on titles.
Well, see, we were playing the Tennessee Waltz as a theme song, but it started just getting old, so it was time to. I figured Down Yonder was a good replacement for it for a while.
Well, let's just ask the chat room. The chat room. How many people have heard the song Down Yonder? Oh, and what was the other one?
You got to be old to remember Down Yonder. The other one was just the Tennessee Waltz. We had an instrumental version of the Tennessee Waltz.
Yeah.
Because we're in Tennessee, so we have to do something. Like Down Yonder is a good thing.
Australia said Red River Rock. Now I don't know what he means by that.
Well, that's another one. That's another Johnny the Hurricane song. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what. After we play Down Yonder, I'll play Red River Rock for the gentleman, and then it'll move along. Well, I'm going to say 73s to you because I've got to get out here and get the music rolling. And
great.
And one of these days you're gonna have to bring the saxophone and play for us over the air.
Okay.
You'll do that, won't you?
I can do it. All right, 73, Ted. Enjoy it tonight. Okay, well, we're coming into the amateur radio roundtable part now. Let's see who out there is brave enough to click on this link right here. It's at the top up in the topic, but I'm going to paste it. I'm going to paste it in the chat room, and let's see if anybody is going to join us tonight. There it is right there. So it'll take me just a minute to get on there. I'll be back. Don't anybody go away. You never know who you're going to see come in here next. And while I'm connecting there, let's see. I've got some entertainment for you. Here we go.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question. It will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
All right. We're back. And I'm one click away from joining the room. Let's see if anybody's in here tonight. We got a couple people. Let's see who they are. Hey guys, how you doing? Let me get you on camera here. All I gotta do is find the right camera. This gets a little complicated sometimes. Here we go. There we go. So who we got there? Oh, hey, I know who this is. We got Scott there and Shelby. We got Shelby on there. How you doing, Shelby?
I'm doing good.
Now, Shelby watched us several weeks ago when we were talking about ham it forward, and Shelby is wanting to study for the tech test. So we hooked him up with a tech test on. It's called what is it called? Ham Test Online. How you doing, Shelby? Give us a report.
I've been doing okay.
Okay, you've been studying it pretty good. Are you passing a lot of the questions, or any giving you trouble?
Yeah, most of the questions I've been passing, and some of them I've been having trouble on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, give us one of the questions that you might be having trouble. What's it about? Can you think of one?
I got no idea. You gotta tell him.
I know.
Well, that's okay. You know, some of those questions can be a little confusing or difficult, but that ham test online, the ones you miss, it keeps bringing that same question back to you multiple times. I think it might ask it a little different way each time, so it helps you learn it. So just stick with the course, and you'll get your license, I'm sure. Do you have any idea when you might want to take your license or take your test?
We were thinking maybe this winter.
October to be able to take the test. October, November at the latest. So
okay.
Right now he's got like 15 hours into study time.
Okay.
So, and on ham test online, they got the green bars that show you how much you know. And he's still got to do a lot more improvement on that. So
I haven't seen 50 questions
out of the whole list of questions that you can possibly have on the test.
Uh-huh.
So he's only got like 50 more to review over it. But then he's got to start working on his memory part there. So that's the setback right now. Like I said, he's only got 15 hours, but once he starts getting around 25 hours or so, he'll start seeing a lot more improvements, I believe.
Okay, well, we're good. Just keep at it. You'll get it there. And we got Anthony in here. How you doing, Anthony?
All right. How are you, Tom?
Doing pretty good. I forget, where are you located?
Florida.
That's right. You're down in Florida. Oh, man. What do you think about our guest we had on the show tonight?
I actually missed the first half hour.
Oh, did you? Wow. I mean, let me tell you, she's done it all. She is a ham for sure. Well, we've only got 2 people hanging out. That's a little better than I thought it has been at sometimes. Let me put that link here again. Again, if you want to join us and get on the webcast, you need a Google account, but click on that link and we'll put you right into the webcast. Right now, it's just 3 of us in there. Probably not going to spend too much time on here tonight. I'm glad we got a report from Shelby there.
Okay.
So, okay, no one else will join. I'm going to wait another 1 minute, and then we're going to probably just go ahead and call the show, and I'll get to editing.